right, welcome. We are live on YouTube. My name is James Penny. I'm co-founder of Momentum Tech, and it's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to our AI sensei, a marketing genius, a technology genius, the original programmer behind our AI platform. And now he just runs an entire massive team of programmers, our one and only Ed Garza, Chief Technology Officer and AI Sensei. Take it away, my friend.
All right, awesome. Welcome, guys, to the AI Breakfast Lab. My name is Ed Garza. Monday through Friday, we are here. And thank you, James. Thank you very much. Well, today we're going to take a look at some interesting concepts, what we call some of our writing tools. And this is our Tuesday Book Studio Day. So, last week we wrote a children's book, and we're pleasantly surprised at the results. Literally, I'll show you what that came out with last week so you can understand it, what it did. Look at the final project. Sometimes it's nice to see a finished project and then go back from the start and peel it back like a banana or an onion, right? So you can understand it. So that's what I want to explain to you today. And then I'll explain the logic behind our book studio so you have a higher understanding of what our studio does. Now, this would be a good time for you to invite people to AIBreakfastLab.com if you're watching us on YouTube, or share this with your friends. If you know anybody that's wanted to write a book, really any business owner that's been thought about writing a book in the back of their head. Maybe they have forgot about it, but they really like to. They have a story they want to tell. They have a memoir, like a mess to success story that they think will benefit somebody. You should, grab your phone, start sending messages, especially if you're a regular here. Invite people. This is going to be live streamed as well, so it'll be on our YouTube channel. You can send them the recording of today. The whole process of the AI Breakfast Lab, for over 3 years we've been doing this, is basically real simple. It's a demo. And what is demo? It's our framework. What does that stand for? It stands for D. We're going to discover a problem, which we know what the problem is. A lot of people just never pick up the shovel and stick it in the dirt. They get stuck. They got writer's block. They got imposter syndrome. They're stuck, right? How do I even get my story started? How do I complete it? How do I take it to the finish line? How do I publish it? And those are all questions that we can answer here right at MomentumTech.ai and AIOS, because we have not just the AI book studio, but we also have the incredible team and the expertise that captain the AI book studio. They pilot it like a pilot drives flies an airplane. And in the background of what's called human capital, right? Human intelligence and expertise, and that's Dr. Smiley and that's Mike Driggers, as well as our expertise combined with artificial intelligence, and you combine your anointed intelligence and the God-given abilities that we have all been given, and the talents and the abilities that Mike Driggers and Dr. Smiley has. You add all that together, AI times 2, and then you add a third AI, and now you have what's called atomic impact, where you could have an impact with your book. And that's what you want, right? With your books. If you write a book, you don't want to just write a book and then let it sit in the, in a pool in the middle of Alaska in wintertime where nobody finds out about it, right? It's kind of like having, maybe birthing a baby. You want to tell everybody about it, right? So when you write a book, that should be your goal. Maybe your goal is to have as a lead magnet. Even in that case, you still got to tell people about it. You can't just build a lead magnet and have nobody go there, right? So that's just like 1% of the effort of writing a book, because you want to get the word out so people hear your message, your story. Right? I mean, isn't that the purpose of it? How many of you want to have an impact? How many of you want to have build authority? Put a one in the chat if you want to build authority or have impact if you write a book, right? That's exactly what you want. You want it to maybe book. You want open doors for podcasts. You want open doors for speaking engagements. You want to try to figure out how to turn it into maybe a revenue magnet. Maybe not the book directly is going to make you money, but maybe it opens up doors for you to make money in your expertise and your talents and your abilities, right? So that's the beautiful thing about AI. It gives you what's called leverage. Huge leverage. So I'd like you to put your leverage lens on this morning, because this is a game changer, like wow type of moment. So let's take a look at it. Now that I've prepared you a little bit for what we're going to do. All right. Well, inside the book studio, which by the way allows you to do just about anything, right? It's what we affectionately call our author grand slam. Any kind of book, business books, memoirs, biographies, children's books, ministry, faith books, lead magnets, nonfiction, authority books, fiction, nonfiction. It does the AI research. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see that. It'll do the AI research. It'll design the cover. You can even create music, and to like what you would use that for is maybe like animating your book cover, right? Intros, outros, maybe a custom soundtrack for your audio book, and really one click, you want to publish it, you can export it in multiple formats and publish with ease. Your story has power. We give you the tools to share it with the world. That is the AI Book Studio. And there was an upgrade recently on the Book Studio, so let's go take a look at it. So a very popular way to search for apps is to just type in a keyword like book. So you can see when you type in book, B-O-O-K, the two book apps that have relevance to the writing a book are the AI Book Studio and the Audio Studio. Make sense? In the Audio Studio, you could do your audio book in your own voice. You can clone your voice for free. You could clone your voice for free. You don't pay for it once you have a subscription and you're part of our community. Not only do you get the AI training, you get the AI iOS system, but we show you how to do it. Not only just anybody showing it to you. You got the founders right here on the AI Breakfast Lab training. So if you want to see this book written, I would suggest getting on your phone and let's invite people. Share the YouTube link. Share the link to AI Breakfast Lab. Hey, you guys got to see this. These are the founders of Momentum Tech. When do you have a chance to connect with founders to actually show you an AI book studio and show you and write a book right before your eyes to demonstrate it? We're solving a problem. We're exploring the demo method. We're exploring the tool, the studio that can solve that problem this morning. We're going to make a book. That's the M of demo. And then we're going to observe it afterwards and write it. That's what we're doing. Yep. So book, like anything else, if I could use a search bar to search for like maybe AEO, which is Ask Engine Optimization, right? And everything comes up regarding Ask Engine Optimization, which is the new SEO. Every business around the globe need help with this, right? So we have an AEO web builder, we have an AEO blog engine, and we have an AEO launchpad to do a web audit or anything like that. All of these apps or studios or engines that we have here work together. They're not like, solo apps. They talk to each other. They engage with each other. They build upon each other. Literally. How? Well, the AEO Launchpad is like, that's the launch pad. That's where things start, like a rocket, it starts on a launch pad, right? And they shoot up, right? That's where things start. They start on a launch pad. Launch pad is where you launch something, like you hit a ball off of a par 3. You launch the ball off to try to get it in the hole. That's the launch pad. And then you got the AEO website builder that can build your AEO website. And it uses the launch pad to make sure it checks off every possible problem of being discovered by AI so that your website's built with that in mind. So every checklist is covered. And the AEO blog engine writes blogs that do the same thing. Literally, blogs that will get you AI cited, blogs that will get you referrals from AI search, blogs that are written based on real market questions that are being asked on Reddit, on Google Gemini, on ChatGPT, on Perplexity, real market questions that consumers are asking. It does research. It has 2 AI engines write 2 separate blogs, and it has an agent that works and says which one's the best blog that's written, that can be AI cited, that has more popular questions that people are asking. And then you click a button and it publishes it on your AEO website. You see how these 3 work together? They're not independent. They work together. That's what our AI operating system does. Right? The same thing with book. Right? The Book Studio. These apps work together. If you write a book in the platform, they automatically populate in your audio studio so you can easily just choose that book. It already has the words to the book because it wrote it. You don't have to upload it, do anything. You just say, okay, let me hear my first chapter. Boom, you click it. Yeah? Like I click here, Audio Studio, right? I say I want to do like an audio book. I click on audio book, right? And here's my voices where I can clone my voice. I can record it. I can upload it. I confirm it's mine. Yeah? And I can choose what type of tone I want. And I can save the voice. And then I can make my audiobook. I choose a finished book. Here's all the books that I've written. Here's the one we wrote last week, Gentle Meadows. It has all these already. See how they work together? Everything in our platform of Momentum Tech AIOS works together. Just like the Book Studio. Just like the website, AEO website. Remember, just AEO. Everything. Remember, just book everything that work together. So let's start a book. Let me show you a finished book we did last week to show you around a little bit. This is how we do a new book, which, by the way, an upgrade, you could actually import an existing book. So if I want to import an existing book, you upload your Word or your EPUB file or your PDF or Word document. The Word document gives you the best results. Like if you have headings or bold or italics or lists or tables or pictures, they all come across. Very complex tables get simplified. So you choose your language, like what's the book language? This is if you have an existing book, right? What's your existing book? What languages are you written in? Okay. We'll add more languages. And then what size? 6.9, 5.5, 8.5, 5.8. What's your author name that you would like? And is this fiction? Kind of changes how the text is laid out on the page. And then you can say, yes, I own the rights to this book and I have permission to publish it. What does this do? Well, you can upload a book you already have written. And then our AI system will lay it out for you so you can edit it here and download it when you're ready to publish. So maybe you started something, right? That's how you can import a book. That's a new upgrade. Another upgrade is the different languages that you can do in the platform. Like we wrote this one last Tuesday. It was Gentle Meadows, the 9 Acts of Love, 9 Bright Stories of Kindness, Forgiveness, and Love in Cloverfield Meadow by Ed Garza and James Penny. And of course, it wrote the entire chapter. We read several sections of this. It's around 24,000 words, and it's built for maybe a young kid, maybe 9 or 10, to read it by themselves if they're a good reader. Maybe younger students can have their parents read it, and they can discuss it. And it's really a family book. Really, when people could sit down together and discuss it, or maybe even in a classroom where they could read chapter 1 together and discuss it. Right? One chapter at a time. Yeah. So that's what this is designed for. And it wrote every single chapter. Of course, we need to add some other things. As you can see, you could add important things before it, like introduction, preface, forward, dedication, acknowledgments, how to use this book, which would be a great thing. How to use this book, right? We're going to write a section like that. How to use it. Like you could use it for classroom. You could use it as a discussion. Each chapter is a discussion for the day. You could read the story together as a classroom or as a homeschool or with your grandkids, right? We're going to give examples like that, right? 100%. Like it? Yeah. So that's what you could do before. You could write it yourself, or you could have AI do it for 50 cents. Anything before as well as anything after. So you can do anything after, like if you need to do a custom page. You could even do a table of contents in the beginning if you want to. Just tell it a custom page, table of contents. Right? Maybe we want to do something after. Right? Maybe we want to, design maybe like a coloring book afterwards, or maybe like a documentary. Maybe we could even put like Bible verses that are talking about love in the back, or a summary of the 9 acts of love, or a bonus chapter talking about possible exercises that you could do to demonstrate these acts in your community, in your home. So you can do whatever you want on the back end, is what I'm saying, which is really cool. Once you do that, then you can go to your cover options. You can okay, here's my cover. You can redesign the cover if you want to. You can download the cover. It's a really cute little cover. Or maybe we do a different one, but that's just an example. We may do something a little bit different. We haven't had a chance to do it. And you got your full jacket here, which will give you there's going to be room the back cover and maybe even the spine. You could describe what you want in your back cover. This would be you could type your own, or this is like a short piece of sales copy, basically, that a reader sees on the back of the paperwork, bulleted list, your bio, your picture, right? So maybe you could do this. There's no cost to this, right? The words on your back of your paper book, you can look at the whole cover laid out, flat, back spine, and cover. So, pretty cool, right? And you can download your whole jacket here. Then you hit continue. And then, of course, this is where you could even download the book in a Word document. This is a kid's book. It'll be probably an 8.5 by 11. Yeah. So you could download a Word document to edit it. And then you could have it ready for print ready for Amazon KDP, whether it's paperback, or there's the paperback interior, there's the cover, there's the Kindle book. Let me show you what an example layout looks, which you guys need to understand. This is where getting our human team involved helps you, because, well, it's important, especially if you've never done a book before. Does that make sense? Put a 5 in the chat that makes sense, yes? Yeah, makes sense, right? So let me show you an example here. This is like the first Gentle Metal book that we did. This is like ready to publish, right? On Kindle, you can see the way it's laid out. You know, it's got like Gentle Metal. There's our table of contents, right? There's all the ISBN numbers. Perfect publishing, right?
Making sense.
Right? Does that make sense? Where everything is here, it's ready to get published. You see, so it has like, the characters here, right? The way it's laid out, the stories, right? Everything here. Start your own kindness journal, and you scan that QR code. It gives them the coloring book and the videos, glossary of kindness acts, and these are books that are published by Perfect Publishing on the back end because they did it for us, right? There you go, ready to go. Pretty cool, right? So that's like one version of it, and then the other version is obviously the cover, right? See, there's like an example of the back cover, right? The Gentle Metal, kindness for kids and their grown-ups. It's like a finished back cover, right? Teaching kindness to kids. Yeah, there's the ISBN scan number. There's the publishing company. There's the characters up back, right? That's ready to go. That's what a finished product would look like, right? So that's what it takes. I didn't know how to do that. I mean, seriously, James and I didn't. We don't know all the intricate 25 years of some of his publishers and his experts and the people that lay out things. This can prepare it. This saves a ton of time. And sending him a finished Word document, right, laid out with the cover and everything else, then they could just take it to the finish line and lay it all out the way it's appropriate. They have all the details. We have some events coming up soon that's going to take you to the finish. It's going to be like a really cool stuff that Mike Driggers and Dr. Smiley are putting together for you guys. You want to stay close to our community if you want to learn how to get published in 48 hours. Literally, that's what we're working on. So there's some really fun stuff. So that's a finished product. Pretty cool, right? You guys like that? I love it. Let's just write another book here. We have questions about that. I'm sure you do. But let's start the process of writing a new book. So this is like a questionnaire that you have an expertise, a topic, you could put it in here. Like, what should the book be about? A practical guide to start a freelance business, maybe in your spare time, is an idea. That's just an example prompt, right? What's your book title? What's your author name? And how long do you want it? All right. So what we're going to do, we talked about doing a Spanish book, but I think we're probably going to just prepare for doing a Spanish lab between Evelyn and Jeanette and see if we could focus on getting some Spanish countries engaged and start doing a Spanish lab maybe once a week or twice a month or something to promote it heavily and give them time to promote it. This could be promoted through obviously Mexico or Puerto Rico or Colombia or Venezuela or Miami or different, obviously all over the country, but we'll need to organize that a little bit better because very few of you here even speak Spanish, so I don't think it's a good idea to do a Spanish book here, right here. But we will plan that. We talked about that. So, and of course the book studio can do a book in Spanish. So how cool would that be? All right. So let's just get started here with a concept and idea. Any questions in the chat so far, what I've gone over? So make sure people get their questions.
I answered, but it won't let me answer everyone. So Frank wants to know what ISBN means and International Standard Book Number.
Yes. So ISBN is something you don't have to worry about understanding. You just need to be able to get it. And of course, our experts get that for you, right? You don't have to worry about that. If you want to use our entire ecosystem, our AI and our human capital to get it done. Yeah. So it's a scan code. You go to the library, you have an ISB number on every single book that's in in a library. If you remember that far back when you were a kid and you went to libraries, that's what it is. It allows them to track what the book is about. It's tied to your revenue and then the publisher and everything else. Okay. All right. So let's go to an idea that I have, because we're going to put an idea in here for a book. And let me look at one thing here. Oh, I know what I want to write. Let's do this. Yes, this is perfect. I need to rewrite this book anyway. So let me look at this document here. This is an introduction. Okay, let me look at the document here. Okay. All right, what should this book be about? Let's talk about this. This book is going to talk about leverage. Leverage over history. Over how leverage has accelerated labor, increased productivity over time, looking at a variety of time frames throughout history. The leverage lens. Ed Garza. All right. And let's do the length. Depending upon the length is the amount of credits that you use. So 50 to 70,000 words is about 755. If you go less, 30 to 50, it's around 585 credits. So we're going to go probably 50 to 70. So it runs about $15 to write this book. Now, I'm going to choose auto chapters. And I'm going to choose English. And I'm going to choose my genre as a business leadership book. And I'm going to choose 6-9. And the tone, I want to have it conversational and professional and authoritative. Both, a blend of everything. Our target audience is going to be small to mid-size business owners, enterprise, C-level executives, founders, and entrepreneurs. Okay. So I can say anything specific you want included, avoided. Do not mention any third-party AI platform in terms of leverage. And then I need my bio. So give me a second here. I'll get my bio here. This could be something you have, right? Obviously, a little bit about the author, short words. It's gonna be printed in the About Us section, right? So you just want to put that in here. Okay, this is really easy inputs, no prompting necessary, right? You just need to organize all this. I'm doing it a lot faster. If I need to slow down, please let me know. These are inputs that you're in control of. So let me just go here. 1 second. I gotta find it here. Okay, here we go. Give me the bio for Ed Garza, the author of this book. Okay, here's my bio. I'll just paste it in there. This is something that you have, right? So it's, yeah, let me just do a shorter one. Give me a shorter one, not so long. You don't need a long bio, right? Just a real short one in here. There we go. Okay, there we go. And the call to action is optional, but what that creates is it creates a QR code for the back of your Kindle book, which is important to have, right? A call to action. So, you know, obviously I'm going to use Momentum Tech Labs as a call to action to invite people to come to our labs that we have every week and put that in the book. It's not something we ever, you know, want to stop doing, no matter how big we get. We'll constantly do some labs, right? And education, especially AI Breakfast Lab, you know, definitely AI Grand Slam Labs, right? So I'll just put that URL right in there. And it's going to create a QR code for the back of the book that we're going to, on the Kindle or the ebook, on the back of the ebook also, right? Now I could actually put like text under it, which I think would be a good idea, right? Underneath the QR code. So let's put one line in there, right? Let's just get some copy. The world's most practical live AI training community. Yeah, let's just put this in the bottom here. The world's most practical live AI training community. Build websites, create videos, publish books, launch marketing campaigns, automate your business, all live alongside the founders every single session. Beautiful. Okay, so it's shortened. So let's just take this and shorten this. Shorten this for my book. Shorten this. Shorten this, please. Okay, see if I can fit this one in here. Maybe this one here is better, a little shorter one. You don't need a big blurb on it. This is just underneath the link, right? There we go, that's perfect. All right, now I want to upload a document that I have. So I already have, and let me give you an idea of what you probably want to have. If you're going to upload any document, it could be like a blueprint, right? So over here, I already have organized like the, the blueprint, so to speak, of the book, right? The book philosophy, right? It's not a book about artificial intelligence. It's not a book about software. It's not a book about automation. This is a book about seeing business differently. Artificial intelligence is simply the greatest leverage tool ever created, but the hero has never been the technology. The hero has always been the leader. Every chapter must reinforce one central belief. The future belongs to those who do not do more work. The future belongs to those who multiply the value of work they already do. That is leverage. That is the heartbeat of this book. And it gives me I have already organized all this in the past, and I wanted to rewrite it anyway. So every chapter follows the same journey. The hook, begin the story, never begin the information. People remember stories, they don't remember explanations. The opening should immediately create curiosity. For example, a CEO losing market share, a small business suddenly exploding with growth, a salesperson being outperformed by someone with fewer resources, a single entrepreneur producing the work of an entire marketing department. The question should immediately become, what happened? The big question. Every chapter answers one question. Why are businesses working harder to grow slower? Why do some companies multiply while others merely survive? Why are average businesses suddenly competing against extraordinary businesses? Why is speed becoming more valuable than size? The reader should naturally want the answer. The shift. This is where the chapter changes the reader's thinking. This is not where we teach. This is where we challenge an old belief. An old belief of growth requires more people. Understand? The new belief is growth requires more what? Put in the chat. Leverage. Every chapter replaces one belief with another. This is the book. We're going to publish this first. I'm not going to share anything more, but you get the concept, right? So let's download this. This is what's important. So the leverage lens, I'm going to upload this document. I did a podcast on Sunday. It'll be available in a couple weeks talking about this. And it's an 1.5-hour podcast. It'll be very good. And I did it in Hendersonville, Tennessee with an influencer. He wanted to interview me. And boy, we had a great time. What a great conversation. Yeah. What a great conversation it was. Let me find this leverage lens. There it is. Maybe drop it on my desktop. So all you do is upload a document. It could be 3 documents, 3 files, up to 10 megabytes in length. That's a lot of information. Understand? It's a lot. So let's upload this. I'm on my desktop. The leverage lens. The leverage lens. There it is. By the way, just to give you an idea, this is only 143 kilobytes. You could upload up to 3 documents, up to 10 megabytes. So you could have maybe your book started. I mean, you can upload a lot of information to make sure that your intellectual make sure that your anointed intelligence, your voice is not lost, that you maintain all ownership of your voice in the book that you're writing, so you don't have to worry about your voice being lost as an author. That makes sense? Put clear, that you understand. Clear, the word clear, C-L-E-A-R, if you understand what I just said. And you know how to communicate that. How do you communicate that? Well, here's a soundbite you can use. Protect your author's voice. Protect your voice. Maintain your voice, your tone, while using AI. Don't lose it. Don't lose your pen. Yeah? That's the power of our platform. So there it is. It's uploaded. Now let's plan my book. Everything's done. So we can plan it now. What's it going to do now? Now it's researching the topic and it's designing the entire chapter outline. This usually takes 15 to 30 seconds. Is this helpful to you guys in understanding the book studio? $15. I mean, that you want to talk about leverage. We know people that have paid $25,000, even currently paying $7,000, $10,000, $30,000 more to hire a ghostwriter to write their book. What they don't understand is that leverage now gives you the tool shed. Not just a tool, it gives you the entire tool shed that you could leverage to get your book written without forsaking your author's voice. There it is. Here's the chapter outline. Now you could edit the outline. You could edit the descriptions. You're in complete control. You can edit the chapter name. I would suggest read it. Make sure it's on voice. This is your chapter. This is your book. Yeah? Opens with the story of two businesses working equally hard, but yet one, okay, the oldest advantage in the world, the muscle behind the muscle, the coordination multiplier. Yes. When energy becomes scale, the century of acceleration, the assembly of genius, the golden age of output. It's a post-war, the strongest custom sustained stretch in data from a 3.2 annual growth powered by innovation, investment, and rising labor quality. Breaks down why innovation alone contributed over 2 percentage points and what that reveals about pairing better tools and better people. The ceiling no one saw coming. Leverage. The diffusion delay explains why general purpose technology often disappoint at first. Using history to show the gap between adoption and impact is where most leaders quit too early. Equip readers to recognize what they are in the waiting period before compound returns arrive. The return of the surge covers the mid-1990s, digital acceleration, the multipliers hidden in plain sight. Okay. The leverage stack framework, love it. And the leverage index, the business that multiplied, the knowledge advantage, speed as a new size, the leverage blueprint, thinking like a leverage architect, the question that changes everything. Closes the book by replacing the reader's old question, what should I buy, with what lasting one? How can I multiply the value of everything my business already knows, already does, and already has? Leaves the reader with one final reflection and a clear next step to carry the leverage lens into every future decision. Boom. Okay? Love it. So, let's see here. I'm thinking right now. Give me a second here. Okay. All right, let's go for this. So we're going to do, we could do like 604, right? Standard, and wait for it, right? Or I could even regenerate the outline if I want to, right? Okay? If that's entirely up to you, right? So let's just try it. let's regenerate it, okay? And let's say okay. That's fine. So let's regenerate. I want you to see the whole process here. So what does that mean? That mean, what it means it's going to rethink it. Maybe you send a signal to it. Hey, I don't like this. That's what you're doing. Now, not that I didn't like it, but I'm showing you. It's basically going to do some research, and it's going to dig deeper. Whenever you tell AI you're not pleased with it, just like a worker, right? A good worker, a good employee. If you tell them, hey, that's not the best work, and you try to do that again, a good worker's not going to complain. They're going to say, hey, I want to try to do that better, right? They want to please their boss. That's a good employee, right, James? Right?
Oh, yeah.
AI does the same thing. If you don't like it, it's
Yeah.
going to try to do better, right? So that's why I'm doing this as an example so you guys can see this yourself. Remember, you could organize this all yourself, right? Like I gave it the chapter frameworks, remember? In that document. So here it is, the new chapters, right? All right. So the lever and the fulcrum. Okay. Yes. The one big wave. Yes. The great misunderstanding, introducing the leverage lens, the 6 multipliers, the ceiling you cannot see, from task to system, measuring whole multipliers, the manufacturer who grew without growing, the creator who reached millions, speed as the new size, the leverage architect, decisions that become frameworks, the compounding business, seeing everything differently. Yep, that's the whole goal. All right. So let's just do it fast since we're here on the Breakfast Lab. And let's just say, write my book. So now it's going to start writing your book. Okay. 18 chapters. So obviously we're not going to sit here and wait and watch it. We're going to do something else, right? We're going to come around here and we're going to show you some other things as that's writing it. You could open up 2 windows. All right. 2 windows. Let me show you around the platform a little bit, especially if we have new guests here, right? There's a little floaty little icon here. This is where you can come in here and you could buy credits. Right. To write that book, let's just say you wanted to build a book like I'm doing right now. And let's say you wanted to build a landing page for it. Now, we give you a landing page build for free every single month. You don't pay anything for it. You don't pay for hosting either. And by the way, tonight, if you guys want to see how we build a landing page, how we connect the domain, how we organize a website in a Word document, and how we launch that website live in the platform, and you want to be on our Momentum Tech Lab tonight. You want to invite people to that because that's what we're doing on the lab tonight. We're digging deep onto this, but I'm going over credit costs now so you understand it a little bit. 2 cents a credit. But how do you translate this into realistic outcomes in our platform? So in essence, let's say you've already built a landing page for the month of August. You want to build a second one. And you want to write a book, like I'm writing a book right now, The Leverage Lens, right? What's it going to cost me? Well, you could probably get it done for under 1,500 credits, under $30. You could write the book and you can build the landing page, and you never pay for hosting again. And you'll still have credits left over. That's what I call leverage. When you guys put leverage in the chat, if you guys think that is leverage. Building a landing page that's AI ready, right? That's beautiful. And writing a book with your knowledge without forsaking your expertise and your pen and your author's authority. That's pretty big. That's pretty, for $20, under $30, that's like, mind-blowing that you could do that. So that's an example of how the credits work. And then you have your entire app suite here that you can look at. Another way to look in maybe little descriptions of everything if you want to look at them and understand them a little bit. This is a great place for you to do, like to understand, for example, what is the AEO Launchpad, right? Measure and improve how AI performs ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, Grok, right? And it's analytics. See, it's analytics, right? And how every app works, like the Humanizer or the Course or the Niche Finder. right? Or the knowledge base or domains. Yeah, you get me? And then this is like preferences. This is you. Like we could change the appearance. Maybe you want it light. Maybe you want it dark. Maybe you want to change your password. That's where you do this. Preferences. Dashboard. Tells you like, how many leads this month you got based on your system, right? Okay. Excellent. All right.
I got a question.
Question, yes.
So does the book write tool has the AI checker to make sure it wasn't created by AI?
Yeah, so for example, if I go into my books, you could implement that if you want to. You don't need to. But again, type in book, and you can see your books here, right? So it's writing the leverage lens right now. But if I look at, let's say this book that I finished, you see there's a button right here, chapter 1. I can humanize this chapter if I want to, and it will bypass any publisher that puts up flags for AI. It should go right past it. We've already tested it. So you could humanize the chapter. And before you humanize it, it's going to tell you what it's going to cost. So that's how you could, if that's important to you, you could do that. Or you could just edit it yourself. You could download the Word document. Okay? Awesome. So that's the preferences, a little bit how to get around, right? How to get around. Remember we were trying to do the video tool yesterday. We changed it to the promo tool. So now it's a promo tool. Video. So you have text to video, image to video, unique generated content like a spokesperson, create your avatars, clone your voice for free, upload a photo of yourself, all right, and make yourself talk, right? Kind of like I did here.
Get AI ready.
Yep, that's me, and that's my voice. You can create unlimited avatars in here. You can do up to 5 minutes, under 60 seconds. Promo videos, really cool. So you could come in here and you could actually come in here and tell it like, how long do you want it? You could do a 30-second promo video for a short. You could do a 1 minute. You could do up to a minute and a half. You could do 16:9, 9:16, right? You could star somebody in it, like, add a photo of a person or a mascot or a product. So you get somebody to be a star. And then what's the video about? You just put what your video is about. And then what happens is it'll draw the video. It'll draw the actual pictures. Then you approve the pictures or regenerate the pictures because all the videos start with a picture. And then each picture becomes a short clip that you can redo and edit and shorten or drop. Then you could add your own custom music and have someone speak or on camera and just put it in there. And then our system will join it all together into one video. I tested it last night. It's great. Yeah. Okay. So give it a shot. Maybe do a shorter one, 30 seconds. Describe your scene, right? Star yourself in it and create it. What kind of scene do you want? Where do you want to go? Maybe you want to go to 2 places. Maybe you want to, be a swimming pool, playing with your family, whatever. Just put it in there, right? What is it you're trying to create? Right? Pretty cool, right? That's an update we did yesterday after the lab, so you guys understand that. And then, of course, tonight we're going to show you, for example, we're going to actually buy a domain tonight at the lab, and we're going to connect it to a website that we built, and we're going to show you how we edited the website, we're going to show you a couple of edits and tools how to do that. And here's the website that we're going to connect a domain with. It's a hairstylist, and we're going to connect a domain, right? And we're going to change a couple things on here. We have some text edits. We're going to change a couple. We're not going to keep both these pictures. We're going to change it to like image picture, and we're going to balance some things, and then we're going to launch it. Yeah? It's a simple landing page for this hairstylist. All right, we're going to give you an example of that. And then we're also going to actually show you how we plan to build, move an entire website over. I mean, an entire website that for one of our corporate members, Bill and Julie Hoffman, we're going to move their website over to their platform. I'm going to show you how we even start that process tonight. So we're already on the 6th chapter, writing. Pretty cool.
Got a question.
Yep.
So they said, maybe you mentioned it earlier and they missed it, they got in late. Will we publish, once we did the book, will we publish the book once it's completed? How will we publish the book?
Well, that's a great question. How will you publish the book? Like I mentioned in the beginning, we have 2 experts. We have Mike Driggers, we have Dr. Smiley that can hold your hand along with the process. So you let AI assist you writing the book, and then you could actually utilize and engage with them. And we have an event coming up, as I mentioned. We'll announce that soon. It's going to be like a 48 hours to publishing, where you could write your book with our experts and then get it to publish it also, which is very important. You need to have the human capital expertise, which we have, and you need to have the AI expertise, which we have and we're demonstrating right now. Does that make sense? I hope that answers the question. So it's writing chapter 7 now. Pretty cool. Any other questions? Any other questions? So let me ask you guys here. If you have any questions about the AEO website builder, there's a button up here that says help. I highly encourage you to click on that because it gives you a great explanation of everything. From filling out the form, choosing what you build, what happens in the building process, how you could change anything by describing it, or how you could edit it yourself for free, how you can add sections and rows and pop-ups, and how you could check it on the phone, what happens with the phone, and your lead collection process, and publishing or connecting your domain, or undoing changes and restoring to old versions, and what are you going to see? Right? A definition of everything that you see. What does it mean? What does funnel mean? What does a prompt edit mean? What does a visual edit mean? What does a clone mean? What does a pop-up form mean? Some of you may not be familiar with that, right? So what's a form answer? Maybe you have what's a version, and what's a custom HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? What is that? And what kind of use of credits, right? And what's free and what uses credits? There's some common questions. So I highly encourage you to look at this. If you're still stuck, obviously you can come on the AI Breakfast Lab, or you can come tonight and you can learn more and watch us do it and demonstrate it. But use this as a foundation to help you, right? There's a help section right in there that really provides a lot of deep information for you. A lot of our complicated apps and processes, we're adding chapter 8 now, tell you that. Like, for example, let's give you another example. Right? So let's say I type in AEO. Remember that, right? Everything comes up with AEO. Every app, every single engine, every builder, every launch pad, everything comes up with AEO when you type in AEO. So here's the launch pad. Right? We even have a help section up here. Look, help. See that? Help. This answers questions about the AEO Launchpad, how it works, setting up, number 1, setting up your business. Right? Setting up your business, reviewing your questions. Let me refresh that page. Okay. We'll send in a support ticket. For some reason I can't scroll down. So You guys take a screenshot of that and let's send that into support, please. Cannot scroll down for some reason. There's just a user issue, probably. James, are you here?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing it right now.
Okay. I thought he said he was smoking.
Sorry, I'm kind of doing double duty. I'm working with one of our customers on a website and here at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, help is a great tool for you guys throughout the platform. Look for that help button on a variety of things, right? It's going to help you navigate, and we'll put it into different places for you as well, okay? And we'll be launching some academies here too as well. Some academies that help you learn the system. Look, chapter 10 already. So it's going to write the entire book here, you know, right here during the AI Breakfast Lab. In less than an hour, because we didn't start right at the hour, it'll finish the entire book. How cool is that? Really cool. Really awesome. So, one of the other apps I think really that's important to you guys, sometimes we run into a roadblock with our business. We don't know what we need to do. Maybe we need advice. Now, you have a choice in life. You could obviously hire experts to help you, a coach or a consultant, right? Or you could go to what's called our Expert AI. It's a free tool to use. You can get instant strategic clarity from 3 legendary business mindsets in one response. Bold innovation thinking, scalable system architecture, and wealth building financial leverage. You could ask one question and walk away with a concrete action plan or a template action plan instead of a one-dimensional advice. Now you could use this for a personal challenge or even a business challenge. Maybe ask your question, what's your challenge? Maybe you're trying to raise money, right? Maybe you're trying to figure out a way to develop a succession plan and talk to your partner. It can be a highly challengeable person. How do you even approach the challenges in businesses or challenges in life, right? You know, maybe you're at a current stage in your business, or maybe you're growing your business, or maybe it's a personal side project or an established enterprise, or you're in the idea stage maybe. And then you can say, okay, what is my industry? What is my niche? Yeah? Then you can emphasize what lens you want the experts to put on. Do you want it to be innovation or systems, wealth, or just all of it together? And what type of depth level do you want them to dig? Right? You want them to go deep, standard, or quick? And what's the tone you want? And what's some relevant, give us a relevant background, like, you know, get things that it should know. This is like if you had a chance to go to Shark Tank and get some advice from them. That's the type of expert advice this is going to give you. Some good, concrete advice it researches. Some things that it has to address. Some must factors that, you know, like, for example, I only have $5,000 to invest in no co-founder, right? So, you know, what does it have to address? What are some things to avoid? Some additional instructions. And then it'll generate a really good, you know, advice from those 3 experts. So that's a free app you can use just to leverage advice of experts. Think of it as your board. Like your mini board of advisors. Pretty cool, right? What do you guys think about that? You like that? Expert AI? It's been there. I don't know if you guys have used it, but if you're dealing with a challenge, or you have a business that has a challenge, and they came to you and you're looking for a solution, maybe you're looking for some advice on how to consult with a business or how to handle it. Fantastic. How to deal with a complicated situation. How to deal with a struggle financially. How to deal with whatever you're looking for. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah. Love it, love it, love it. So I think that's it. Let's see where we're at on the chapters. Oh, we're already on 12. So we're going to take this to the finish line. Any other questions about any other app in the platform, or studio, or engine that we have. The dual chat. Let's talk about this. So the dual chat, you could get a response from ChatGPT or Claude at the same time. Yeah, you can. You can attach a document for ChatGPT, only one, or even Claude. Okay? It's got to be under 2 megabytes. The longer PDF is charged per page, even while free ones remain. Okay, so it just depends on how long it is. Like 10 pages or fewer. Generally, especially if it has images. Okay. So right now I have 5 of 5 free. Attachments left this month. We allow you to do certain amount per month, and then after that you could pay small amounts of credits to use it. Maybe you don't use ChatGPT and Claude much, but when you do, maybe you want the advice of both of them. That's why we put this in here for you, for help to be convenient for you, so you have one place to go. Pretty cool. Maybe you're writing a book, right? And you want to get the feedback. I do that sometimes. Give me the feedback of your book, right? That's what I'm looking for. So, you want to see something really cool about the feedback that I got from ChatGPT and Claude on the book I wrote last month or last week? It gave me feedback. I wanted feedback. I told it to do deep research. You guys want to see that? I'll show that to you. And this is how I use this tool. Okay, let me find it now here. I'm going to put it in a Word document here. Here it is. This was the feedback from Claude and research. This was their assessment. Because I asked it, hey, this book that was written, the one we wrote last week, I asked it, is this appropriate for children? Because it was 26,000 words. I was kind of questioning it. James and I were kind of questioning it, So it said, and I gave it both the books, the first book that we published and the new book that we wrote, right? So it said, this is what it said. It's absolutely appropriate for children, but I would position this second book differently from the first. It reads like a traditional short picture book and more like an illustration children's chapter book, family read aloud book, like a family read aloud book. The sweet spot is ages 6 to 10. I would expect a parent, grandparent, or teacher to read it out loud, probably one chapter at a time. For ages 6 to 8, it's an excellent read together book that strong readers could begin reading portions independently. Ages 8 to 10, I think it works very well as independent reading. This actually is an advantage. You don't necessarily need book 2 to have the same length or simplicity as book 1. You're allowing the gentle meadow world to grow with the child. The opening is a good example. It immediately creates a vivid children's book world. The first snowfall, Bumble putting on his scarf, carrying a biscuit in case someone needs cheering up, Tippy racing towards the snow, and Nippy matching mittens. It's warm, it's visual and imaginative without talking down to children. What I particularly like, is the moral lessons aren't merely stated. The characters have to experience them. Nippy becomes overwhelmed, snaps at Tippy, recognizes that he hurt her, apologizes, and learns that accepting help is part of helping. Sage's cricket explanation that an apology is like a bridge that helps two hearts walk back towards each other is especially strong children writing. The forgiveness story goes even deeper. Tippy doesn't just say sorry. She acknowledges what she did, recognizes Aunt Maple's feelings, and Aunt Maple admits that her own angry words were unfair. They both apologize and forgive one another, and that's a sophisticated lesson. present in a way children can understand. I also really like that love isn't defined only as an affection. In this book, love becomes behaviors children can actually practice: welcoming someone, sharing responsibilities, slowing down, encouraging someone, encouraging a newcomer, apologizing, forgiving, helping, and preserving. That's a strong foundation for a series. This was the feedback. I mean, I asked it to be critical, okay? I asked Claude and I asked ChatGPT, be as critical as you can be. I want to know for the truth, right? And it did research and it gave me. The one issue I would address is not the subject matter, that it's too mature, because I asked it, is it too mature? It's the amount of text. Some passages are fairly long and descriptive for younger children. That's beautiful for a read out loud, but for a 5 or 6 year old, it's likely to sit through an entire 60-page, book in one setting. I would solve that by dramatically cutting the manuscript. I'd solve it through positioning and book design. Treat the 9 story acts as an individual reading experience, one act of love at a time. So that's why I thought how to use this book in the beginning of the chapter, at the beginning of the book, right? How to use this book? We'll do it one act of love at a time, one chapter at a time, right, James? Yeah?
Yep, that's right.
A family can read one chapter tonight and another tomorrow. A teacher could use one each week. A grandparent could read one at bedtime. That makes the length a feature rather than a problem. I don't see anything in what I reviewed that concerns me for the target age, like emotional safety, right? There are real emotions like worry, embarrassment, disappointment, hurt, feeling excluded, frustration, making mistakes, and forgiving someone. But they're presented within a very secure emotional world where caring adults and friends help the characters process what happened. Even the more dramatic storm sequence with wind and sleet and the festival stage collapsing is adventurous rather than frightening or violent. That actually is important because a children's story about kindness becomes much more meaningful when kindness has something real to respond to. One of the strongest themes, I particularly like what you're doing with imperfection. Pippo's machine failing spectacularly. Instead of the lesson being don't fail, the other characters help him reorganize or recognize what worked and encouraged him to try again. Right? And at the end, Bumble realizes that the festival wasn't perfect. There were spills, storms, mistakes, hurt feelings, but it was better than perfect because of everyone learned together. That's an excellent children's message. I would not shorten this into another conventional picture book. I would deliberately make book 2, which that's what this is, the next development step in Gentle Meadows series. I'd position it appropriately like this. Gentle Meadows, the 9 acts of love, 9 heartwarming stories for children and grown-ups to read, share, and practice together. Perfect for ages 6 to 10, family read aloud time. And I'd consider adding a very short for grown-up page at the beginning, explaining that this book is designed to be enjoyed one story at a time and encouraging parents to talk with children afterward about how they can practice that particular act of love. That would make the longer format feel completely intentional. Overall children's suitability, 9 to 10. Family read aloud, 10 to 10. Values and character education, 10 to 10. Independent reading, strongest around 7 to 10. Most importantly, I wouldn't dumb the language down very much. Part of the charm is that you're giving children beautiful phrases and metaphors while keeping their meaning understandable. The book feels gentle without being babyish, which is exactly where I'd want this series to live. Man, I love that feedback. And I didn't ask it to agree with me either. Right? What a great way. Look, chapter 18 is being written. It's finishing the book. Guys, thanks for being here with us in the AI Breakfast Lab. I hope this was helpful to you in the publishing arena. And we went a little bit over, but man, what a great experience. Chapter 18 being written, the compounding business. Each chapter is written in full. Just takes a few minutes to complete it. Literally, you could just go have coffee, go do an errand after you complete the 2 input forms, 3 buttons that you click to write your book. Take it slow, systematic, prepare your content, ahead of time. Use the Wow GPT, use Chat GPT and Claude in our platform. Do some research, organize some thoughts, take your expertise, protect your author's pen, protect your voice, and prepare it to go publishing. That's what you could do in Book Studio. Right now it's designing the cover. It's almost done. And by the way, it designs your cover using our book cover designer in our image studio, which you could create book images or book covers there. You're always in control of your book cover. You can organize it, reorganize it to whatever you choose. Yeah, you're in control. That's the most important thing. You can even download the Word document and go right into editing it. There it is, the leverage lens. Yeah, how the greatest leaders in history multiplied work instead of adding more of it. Turn small decisions into exponential leadership force by Ed Garza. Love it. Yeah. There's the full jacket. There's the full leverage lens. Very unique. 63,000 words. There you go. All complete. 18 chapters. Incredible. Yeah? Incredible. All right, there you go. What a boom, what a bam. There's the first draft. Thank you guys for being here. Any questions? We'll close out now. It's fantastic. Yes, it is fantastic. Yes. And that's my second rendition, by the way, of the book. I've written it. I'm going to rewrite it again, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to read it, because this is going to be a book that I believe will be very similar to, legacy books. And I want to write this book, and I wanted to open up doors for Momentum Tech, for you and I and our family at Momentum Tech, to open up doors for more podcasts, more speaking engagements. Nobody's talking about it, and we're going to be talking about it. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for our YouTube family. Don't forget about tonight, Momentum Tech Labs. Tonight we're our first evening lab. So invite guests, invite them. MomentumTechLabs.com, 7 p.m. Central. Show up. Tuesday and Thursday night. This is our first one. Looking forward to it, guys. We'll see you there.